Now going over to the culture part of the podcast, you have Anheuser Busch horse tweet is, well, so bad it should probably be taken out behind the barn and taken care of. Hashtag Old Yeller. Now, this comes to us thanks to X Twitter, and it's specifically from the Anheuser Busch profile. They have profiles, that's the parent company. Well, the big parent company in Belgium is Anheuser Busch InBev, but they do have profiles for most of their brands as well as the U.S. entity Anheuser Busch, which, again, is all one big thing at the end. Now, Anheuser Busch posted a picture, which hilariously, again, perhaps I'll have to dive into the legality of this, but it's just a picture of a horse, and they still have this little disclaimer in the top right. The text says message, or they're too lazy to say it spelled out, so it's just MSG. However, I don't think they're talking about becoming inebriated further with illegal drugs, so we'll assume it says message for 21 plus, which is hilariously ironic considering they paid Dylan Mulvaney $185,000 to sell beer to kids. I say that because that was Dylan's average profile demographic on TikTok. The average TikTok user is well below 21, and Dylan's audience is below that age threshold as well. Perhaps that is, I believe, one of the biggest contributing factors of why the Bud Light boycott was struck when they started that campaign with Dylan Mulvaney, ironically or hilariously, on April 1st. Now, in terms of controversy in this particular post, there's not much. It's one of the old... Actually, I don't know the age. It could be a young buck, or I guess I don't know what you call a young horse. Nevertheless, foal? Yeah, probably. But nevertheless, it says a little text before just a picture of a horse, and the text says, "At least someone is enjoying this winter," unquote. Which, and I guess they did use 3 dots for reasons. And it's just a picture of a horse with snow outside. Which, you're not showing me the product you're trying to sell. I guess they're trying to get that emotional rhetoric to the old mascots that people liked. But yeah, you don't see the factory. You don't see the iconic carriage that it used to pull. You don't see the actual products that they're trying to sell. So a little underwhelming to say the least. And the statistics also show that as well. Now again, these statistics were taken 48 hours after it's posted. So it's had time to brew, pun moderately intended. It's not like we're waiting 2 minutes after the post to go, oh yeah, it only got 2 views. No. It actually got 5,913 views in that time period, which, again, is pretty pathetic given the fact they're a multi-billion-dollar corporation. They only got 5,913 views. And they only got 159 likes, which is also mediocre to say the least. And in terms of the comments, they did get a few. Not many, but they did get 16 comments in total. Now, not to brag, but I did get 17 comments on video last month. And granted, for me, I always go for quality over quantity, the opposite of how they formulate beer at Budweiser. But my comments are always from the coolest and awesomest people. Budweiser, not so much. But nevertheless, let's go in the comments and see. Maybe someone is really compelled. They go, oh, it's so cute. I'm going to go buy your product right now. I mean, I highly doubt that. I'm not saying the odds are zero. Probably the odds are 0.0000725, most likely. But let's dive in and find out. Let's see. Someone by the name of Andrew T says, the horse. And I do give Anheuser Busch a modicum of credit. Not much, mind you, but a little bit. They did reply, and they did rhyme, so it's kind of fun in that. They replied saying, of course. Though they couldn't take the 1/1000th of a second to like this person's comment. So Andrew did say the horse, but no one liked it. Which, again, if you're in charge of Anheuser Busch social media, or if you're just the intern, or presumably there's a person in charge of this profile, they couldn't just like that person's comment. The first comment is actually something that's not negative, and yet they couldn't take the 1/1000th of a second to like it. And at the end of the day, those likes can mean all the world. And if you could like this video, I would especially appreciate it. Now, going to this profile of Mr. Andrew T, looks like he has 990 followers. And let's see. Looks like they are retweeting for... What the heck is this? Oh my god. So it's disgusting. I'm not saying... Well, I'm not saying this punishment should... I'm not saying the punishment should be throwing tomatoes at a person in public. But one of the first videos he retweets is a girl with high heels. Can't be real. Dancing on a brand new BMW? M Coupe? Not an M Coupe. It's the M5. Terrible. So, I guess it's a real profile. They're not asking for free stuff. They're just reposting stuff that interests them, which is even rarer because overwhelming majority of the time when there's somebody commenting on Anheuser Busch and it's not derisive, interesting, or, it's not roasting them, as you might say. It's usually the profile that just says, repost this, you might win a gift card, which, again, don't do that. It's all a scam. Your time is not worth it. But nevertheless, yeah, it looks like it's a real person. Interestingly enough. Now, going back to the other comments, let's see here. Warm Springs Ranch said, quote, he's feeling a little nosy. And that did get one like, but they did not reply to that. And looking at his profile, let me see here. Or I guess it's a ranch profile. Warm Springs Ranch. Oh, okay, it makes sense. They're, as the youth might say, an ally. They are the home of the world famous Budweiser Clydesdales. Content for sharing is 21 plus, community guidelines. Interesting. Makes sense. So, that actually makes sense. It's a business partner of Anheuser Busch. So they actually did, and Anheuser Busch is one of the few companies that they actually follow. Anheuser Busch follows specifically Warm Springs Ranch, and yet they couldn't reply to it. It's so haphazard. So sometimes they're replying, sometimes they're liking but not replying. It's as inconsistent as the flavor of their beer. Although you could argue it's just consistently mediocre. Usually you'll taste the rusty nail or perhaps a couple drops of Flint, Michigan water. But nevertheless. And again, they got one like. Going back down, we'll go to the comments that actually have multiple likes. So the first one that got multiple likes is from Right From the D. They say, quote, I'm sure Dylan is enjoying it too, unquote. That got 2 likes. Anthony Leach said, quote, is it a real horse, unquote, getting 2 likes. Anthony Christensen said, quote, what are the horse's pronouns? That's the most important thing, unquote. They got 5 likes. Debad is says, quote, don't ruin horses now. 2 weirdos, unquote, getting 3 likes. See here. Ryan Tree Fitty, although he is neither in front of a tree or demanding a denomination of currency of $3.50. So this alleged Ryan Tree Fitty said, quote, thank you for sponsoring Sean Strickland and the UFC. We agree that the modern trans movement is unhealthy and dangerous, unquote. They got 4 likes. Chow Chow has the gif of Dylan Mulvaney and I forget what's a nice way of saying creepy? Concerning teacher, which is a biological man dressed up as a woman, which encourages children to not talk to their family and instead confide in this stranger online and transition. I forget this individual's name. That gif did get 2 likes. A couple other gifs of men dressed up as women getting 2 likes. Scooter says, quote, he'd rather freeze to death than be associated with Bud Light. Way to go, horse, unquote. Getting 2 likes. But again, what would have been a smart, cute idea if you had a modicum of intelligence that you were working at Bud Light, although some might argue if you had a modicum of intelligence, you would not work there. But nevertheless, a good idea would be, what if you had a name tag on the horse that said, AB employee, Anheuser Busch employee number 20 or whatever like that, and they had the horse's name. Because again, it could be a random horse. I don't know if this horse actually works there. That would have been comical, would have been interesting, and then you could have a whole parody of the horse complaining about his paycheck, saying, "Where's my extra hay?" There's a lot of material to work with there. There's a lot of opportunity, and yet it seems like they just have so little creativity over there. But nevertheless, someone by the name of A says, "quote perverts, stay away from our kids," unquote, getting 3 likes. Then we get that big warning. It says, show additional replies, including, though, that may contain offensive content. Of course. Let's see the bonus content. So J.E.'s B's, interesting profile name, he says, quote, well, I'll paraphrase to make this moderately family friendly, so I won't actually say the swear. He says, quote, F you, the boycott is still on cats, unquote. Though you did not say cats. He said the other word. Nevertheless, that didn't get any likes, but that was hidden. Jesse Curtis. Now, I don't know why this was deemed offensive. I don't know why. She says, good afternoon. Hope you're having a fantastic Friday. 100% clapping hands. Person dancing. Person on a phone emoji. All too cute, unquote. No one liked it, but that was deemed to be censored, interesting enough. So, in terms of marketing, I would say it's definitely not the worst. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible to do worse than Bud Light in 2023. I'm just saying it would be almost a challenge to do that bad, and I don't think statistically speaking it's probable. It could happen, but I don't think it'll ever be that bad again. But again, it's just not they had a kernel of an idea and it just failed. And again, most of them are just roasting it. And this doesn't really compel you to buy the product. It makes you, I guess, feel a little good because you reminisce about what Bud Light used to be. So, I mean, again, I would just have to say, in terms of the sports balls metaphor, this was certainly a swing and miss. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of January. So if you click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a thumbs up or a thumbs down and comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.